She doesn't realize that she's being used as a dragon. This should be your moment. Why is it not your moment? Why is it about Blake Lively?
Salma Hayek just dropped a brutal truth bomb on Blake Lively after Blake tried to drag her into a messy PR circus. Blake thought that casually aligning herself with Salma would magically fix her crumbling image. But Salma had no intention of playing along. What happened next completely derailed Blake's sympathy stunt. When the Justin Baldoni scandal blew up and people started picking sides, Salma's silence was louder than any tweet. She didn't post cryptic messages, didn't like shady posts, didn't hint at loyalty. She stayed distant, intentionally. At first, people assumed it was silent support. Maybe she was backing Blake behind closed doors. But now that silence is being seen differently because new details suggest Salma never backed Blake blindly. In fact, she might have been the first to quietly walk away once she saw what was really happening.
She just said that the woman who claims to be the victim of Justin Baldoni's sexual harassment.
Then came the headline-making dinner. Just days after harassment accusations against Justin Baldoni hit the press, Salma Hayek and Blake Lively were spotted at a very public dinner in New York City. Cameras were ready. The setup didn't feel like coincidence.
Her bestie were spotted out to a very public dinner together in New York City. The paparazzi may or may not have been tipped off about it.
Paparazzi were conveniently positioned. The photos flooded media channels. Gossip blogs ran with it. Headlines screamed, "Blake still has support," and "Girls' Night in the Storm." To outsiders, it looked like genuine sisterhood. But what no one seemed to mention, Salma had just scored the cover of Sports Illustrated's swimsuit edition.
Yet the headlines for her, if you look into SEO, is Salma Hayek speaks on Ryan and Blake, or Salma Hayek seen with Blake Lively. It's like, this should be your moment.
That wasn't just a cover. It was a cultural moment. At nearly 60, Salma was making headlines for breaking age norms, uplifting Latina representation, and owning her space in fashion history. She was being celebrated for something powerful and personal.
Why is it not your moment? Why is it about Blake Lively, you know?
Yet somehow, all of that momentum vanished after those dinner photos went public. Media barely acknowledged Salma's historic cover. All eyes shifted to Blake. The story became about her support system, not Salma's success. It was subtle, but deeply unfair.
She just got the cover of Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. This should be headlines, you know, Salma is still hot, she's still sexy, she's on the cover.
Blake's PR team had successfully hijacked Salma's press moment. They repackaged it into a narrative that made Salma look like Blake's cheerleader instead of a headline-making icon. For someone like Salma, who spent decades building her brand with intention, that wasn't just frustrating, it was disrespectful.
It's being sucked out basically by the Blake and Ryan and Baldoni mess. No.
Now, insiders close to the situation are confirming that dinner wasn't spontaneous. It was a setup. Blake's team allegedly reached out to Salma with a pitch. No statements, no drama, just a cozy public dinner and some friendly smiles. The plan? Use Salma's untarnished image to soften Blake's. Salma is respected, scandal-free, and globally admired. Just being seen with her would instantly boost Blake's credibility and likability.
Salma was just asked at a red carpet event about her friend, the Van Zandt CEO.
But here's where things flipped. Salma didn't agree to be part of a PR stunt. She thought it was a genuine personal dinner, not a photo op. When she realized how her image was being used without her consent, she was livid. Behind closed doors, Salma reportedly told close friends that she felt manipulated, blindsided even. She never agreed to vouch for Blake or be used as a symbol of support. And when Justin Baldoni's legal team came calling for information, Salma didn't protect Blake. She told the truth, confirmed Blake's team had reached out, that the dinner was pre-planned, and that there were subtle requests for her to publicly say kind things about Blake, maybe even promote her secret product launch.
Salma is on the cover of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, and she revealed, "I'm close to their kids." I'm close to their kids? About the power couple.
Yes, you heard that right. Amid all the chaos, Blake Lively was quietly trying to launch a new hair care line, and she wanted Salma Hayek to help promote it. Maybe an Instagram mention, maybe a casual plug in an interview. But Salma declined, and now she's speaking out about why. She didn't believe in the product, and more importantly, she didn't appreciate being dragged into a scandal that had nothing to do with her, especially one involving Taylor Swift. And here's where it gets messier. Taylor allegedly warned Salma before the dinner, saying she was done with Blake, felt betrayed and wasn't going to play the PR game. While Salma didn't quote her directly, the message was clear. Whatever Taylor was planning wouldn't be good for Blake. And if Salma says that out loud, it means something's coming. What once looked like support now feels like a calculated takedown. Salma didn't just step away from Blake, she helped expose how deep the manipulation ran, and by doing so, she reminded everyone why she remains one of the most respected women in Hollywood. No gimmicks, no headlines, no fake friendships, just principles. By February, Blake's image was bruised. The accusations were flying. The media was in a frenzy. And behind the scenes, Justin Baldwin's legal team was moving fast. One name kept coming up: Salma Hayek. Their February 13th dinner became gossip blog gold. Paparazzi caught them leaving a chic Italian restaurant in NYC. Suddenly, the narrative was that Salma was backing Blake. But Baldwin's team didn't buy it. The timing felt too scripted. So they subpoenaed Salma, quietly, but clearly. And what came next shocked everyone. She responded within 24 hours and agreed to speak, freely, with no lawyers, no conditions. That alone made headlines. In a mess this big, most celebrities hide. But Salma walked in calmly and told the truth. She confirmed that Blake's PR lead, Julia Patterson from WME, reached out before the dinner. It was positioned as casual, but soon, Salma received a curated support list. No contracts, but clear requests. Say something nice in interviews, promote Blake's serum on Instagram, refer to her as a close friend during her Sports Illustrated press tour. Salma didn't say yes, but she didn't resist either. She went to dinner, stayed polite, and waited. But after headlines twisted the dinner into an endorsement and buried her own Sports Illustrated cover beneath Blake's PR rollout, she had enough. She told Baldwin's team she felt used, not by Blake personally, but by the machine behind her. A machine that tried to borrow Salma's credibility to whitewash a scandal. And then came the bombshell. Taylor Swift had called Salma a week before the dinner, saying she had cut ties with Blake, had been threatened, and refused to participate in Blake's Super Bowl PR push. Taylor warned that Blake's team might leak private texts if she didn't cooperate. According to Salma, that call changed everything. When asked if the dinner was part of a PR stunt, Salma didn't hesitate. 100%. She said she regretted attending and felt misled. Just being photographed next to Blake was being spun into fake support. No truth, no context, just a carefully staged illusion. Under oath, Salma confirmed what many suspected, that Blake's team was orchestrating everything. Salma didn't rant, tweet, or leak. She simply told the truth, and in doing so, she cracked the image of Blake as quietly supported. Because when someone like Salma steps back, it's not drama, it's a statement. And now, even the dignified ones are stepping away. Weeks before the headlines erupted, Blake was already in panic mode. Her legal team scrambled to spin her case against Baldwin, but she focused elsewhere. The soft launch of her clean blonde serum. Slated for a March 2024 rollout, the campaign leaned on influencers and quiet buzz. But Blake knew what was coming, and she started calling in favors. One of those calls went to Salma. On January 28th, via WhatsApp, Blake asked if she'd casually mention the serum. Nothing formal, just a nod in a podcast or beauty article. They'd just had dinner. It would look organic. Salma didn't say, yes, but 2 days later, her manager replied, Salma had prior commitments. It was polite. But weeks later, Salma revealed the truth. She didn't trust the product or the motives. She didn't want to promote something tied to chaos. In a private exchange with Baldwin's team, She said she felt Blake was weaponizing celebrity friendships, and she wanted no part in that. The fallout was instant. Internal WME data leaked on March 8th showed Clean Blonde pre-orders dropped by 80% within 72 hours of the Blake Baldwin headlines. Sephora paused the campaign, calling it a high-risk product. Engagement plummeted. Clean Blonde's Instagram lost 38,000 followers in 10 days. Click-throughs dropped 62%, and reviews were brutal. On March 12th, beauty YouTuber Danny Castillo dropped a viral takedown titled, "Is this Blake Lively's Clean Blonde or just a celebrity scam?" Over 700,000 views in 2 days. The verdict: overpriced, underwhelming, and full of empty buzzwords. Blake had envisioned an elegant rollout, legacy friendships, polished interviews, organic glamour. Instead, she got silence. And that silence, especially from Taylor Swift, spoke volumes. Taylor didn't comment, post, or even like. She vanished. And in the world of PR, that silence was louder than any public statement.
Basically, right now, Brian Friedman has made an affidavit, a sworn affidavit under penalty or perjury, where he now doubles down on his allegations that Blake Lively asked Taylor Swift to delete text messages.
Brian Friedman's affidavit, submitted on February 18th, revealed a disturbing allegation. Blake Lively had reportedly contacted Taylor Swift directly, pressuring her to release a public statement of support. The request? To explain her Super Bowl absence as a show of personal loyalty to Blake. But when Taylor declined, Blake's team allegedly retaliated with a threat to leak private text messages exchanged over the past decade. The affidavit states that Taylor was blindsided, deeply unsettled, and from that moment on, cut off all communication.